everyone, welcome to another episode of Raw Radiant Health, and I'm Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me. So today I'm going to talk about good digestion and food combining. So for those of you that don't know about food combining, pretty much what it is it's combinations of food. And these combinations of food can actually either be great on your digestive system, or they can create serious problems where you end up having like bloating, gas, acid reflux, indigestion, constipation, diarrhea, irritable bowel syndrome, and all the way to even having Crohn's or colitis. This affects it as well. So, and the main thing is we all know that good health means good digestion. And whatever we're eating, we don't want it staying in our body for so long. If you want to know if you're in great health, you should be digesting your food pretty quickly. It should be from the moment you eat it to when you eliminate it. It should only be like either 18 to 24 hour transit time. If it's longer than that, like a few days, then you know that things are kind of blocked up and your food combinations might not be working well for you. So, with that being said, I'm going to kind of explain a little bit about food combining and digestion itself, because, I don't know, the more you're prepared with this, you can use this with cooked foods and you can use this with raw foods, and this can make your life a lot better, because I know that a lot of people out there suffer from really terrible like acid reflux and gas and tummy upsets and just not feeling well after they eat, and they can't figure out what is it. Why is it every time I eat I feel just terrible? And a lot of it all comes down to what we're eating and what we're eating it with, pretty much. So food combining itself also can be a little bit confusing and a little bit like, whoa, this is just too much information. And I love keeping things really, really simple. So I am going to keep this really simple. And pretty much the main thing is that whatever you eat, it gets broken down first in your mouth, okay? And you chew it, you're breaking it down. Then once you swallow it, it then goes down into your stomach. And in your stomach, you're breaking things down even more. And in your stomach, you're also secreting different types of gastric juices and enzymes that break everything down. And there's different enzymes for different foods. So there's certain enzymes that break down the proteins, there's other enzymes that break down fats, things like that. So the simpler the food is that you eat, the easier it is to digest. The more complicated the food you're eating and the more like it's mixed up with everything. Like if you have a meal that's a 4-course meal that involves every single food group, it's going to create some stomach upset. You know, I mean, most of us have seen that when you go out to like some sort of celebration and eat a crazy amount of food, and then you can't move after because your stomach is just like, whoa, there's a lot going on here, and I've got to use all my energy to deal with what's going on in my stomach right now, and you cannot move for like the next few hours. Thank you very much, right? So that's from a bad food combination. And when you eat good food combinations, after you eat, you should feel alive and energetic and ready to go out and move, and you feel re-energized. You shouldn't be feeling like you need to go and take a nap. So now we're going to get into the actual food combining. So pretty much our foods are all broken up into categories. You've got our fruit, you've got your vegetables, you've got your greens, you've got your starches, you've got your proteins, and you've got your fats. Now, food combining can get a little bit complicated and can be like, whoa, like I can't memorize all this, and I don't blame you. So one thing before I say anything, I'm just going to say one thing. If you feel like you don't feel so good after your meal, you've had a bad food combination. And pretty much when you have a bad food combination, what it means is that how our stomach kind of works is that when things enter your stomach, they enter it in layers. So whatever you first eat goes down, and then whatever you eat after that in that same meal is going to go on top of it, and then the next thing is going to come down and it's going to go on top of that. And so what you want is for the food that you first eat to be the quickest to digest. So the worst situation would be if it takes the longest to digest, because then whatever's put on top of that is going to putrefy. So for example, like fruit. Fruit is the quickest to digest. It takes like 20 to 40 minutes to process a fruit in your stomach and then let it go through the small intestine. On the opposite end of things, something like meat or cheeses and stuff like that, that can take hours, like up to 8 hours or even more to digest. So something like fruit, which is so quick to go through the body, you'd want to eat that first. And then you eat something that's heavier on top of that. But you never want to do the opposite of eating, like, let's say, a meat-based meal and then having fruit as a dessert afterwards. Because what ends up happening is the fruit comes down on top of the meat, the body's dealing with the meat and it's breaking it down, and it takes hours and hours to break it down and sort it out. And next thing you know, if you have this fruit that's sitting on top of it, it's putrefying and it's fermenting and decaying in your stomach and waiting to get down so it can be released. And instead of being in your stomach for just 20 minutes like it's supposed to be, it's sitting there for like 8 or more hours. And then you're absorbing all that acid into your body because it's not getting released. You know what it's like if you throw fruit out into the hot sun, what happens to it very, very quickly? Well, picture that. That's happening in your stomach. And this can be happening every single day if you're doing this on a regular basis. So you want to start your meals off with the fastest digesting food possible, okay? So if you were to have like I always find the one thing to remember with food combining is just remember the order, that the fastest is fruit, then greens, then vegetables, then your starches, then your fats and proteins. So always start the meal with the fruit and then like a salad and your vegetables, and then move on to your heavier stuff like your starches, your proteins, and your fats. Now, mix fruit with greens. Is that alright? Like a green smoothie? Yes. The one great thing is that greens, like salads, or spinach, or any kind of herb, or the greens, they mix with anything, and they're so good to eat. Like if you're having a meal that has like a lot of nuts and seeds, they're great to have with it, because the fiber that you're getting from the greens will help to digest and bring this stuff through your body and out. Especially because things that contain a lot of protein and fat usually don't have so much fiber. And so I actually find it's really important to somehow get the greens in with those fats and those proteins. And let's say you're eating a meat-based meal, to always have a salad with it to begin with. Start with a salad and then have your meat, and that salad will help digest that meat and get it down. Now, if you're having a lot of digestive problems, the one thing you don't want to be mixing is your starches and your proteins. That is like the worst. If you're eating a cooked food diet, you want to stay away from having your fish with rice or your meat and the potatoes, because that's a very stressful combination on your digestive system, because the starches digest much quicker than the fats and the proteins. And again, you'll have that putrefaction, the fermentation, and the reabsorption of that into your body, which is not good. You know, the goal is for optimal health is to have things go through you quick. You know, we want to eat it, we want to absorb it, we want to get rid of it. We don't want things fermenting and putrefying inside our gut. So that's what I'm going to leave you guys with today. Have a fabulous, fabulous day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!